Hello and welcome to the 2013 Findlay Oilers football season preview. My name is David Buck and I'm joined by head coach Rob Keys.
David, how you doing?
Coach, thanks for joining us. There's a lot of excitement surrounding your football program right now. You won 6 games your first year, you upped that to 7, went 7-3 your second year. What is the next step for this team to take?
Well, it's been a long journey. It's been a tough process. There's been a lot of work put in to get to this point. And yeah, it is. It's awesome to talk to people and the excitement level outside our football family because, from day one, our expectations internally have always been the same. We expect to win every game and we expect to go out and compete hard, and to have everybody on the outside feel the same way about our program, it's exciting.
Good. Now, this year's a little bit different. We got something new coming up on October 17th down at Ohio Dominican. We're going to get a chance to play on national television. CBS Sports Network is going to broadcast that game. From a national television point of view, everyone's going to see the Findlay Oilers. What does this opportunity mean for the program?
Yeah, we're really excited to have the game. I know coming into the 2011 season, I don't think we would have been on anybody's short list to get a national TV game, but our kids have worked very hard. Our staff has worked extremely hard to put us in position to be even recognized as a possible national TV game. And for a lot of guys in small college, you never get the chance to play in front of 95 million possible viewers. And it's our guys have talked about it, and they're very excited about it, but at the same time, it's so far down the road. I mean, it's week 7, I believe, so I know there's a lot of football before then.
Sure. Now, this year is going to be a little bit different. You've had to rely on a lot of first-year players throughout your first 2 years. Now you have some upperclassmen to work with. Does that help you? Does it help the team continue to build towards, a league championship?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's tough to win in this league, regardless of who you have on your roster. But it's even really more difficult to win with young guys. For the first time, we have some depth at certain positions, and it does make things a little easier when you're installing stuff in the fall, and we have such a short camp period. It's really kind of the NCAA, the way the schedule falls and the way our class schedule falls. We only have 1 week of two-a-days, so it's going to be interesting. But there's no doubt that experience leads to championships, and the more experience you have at every spot, it's going to make you better.
Now, you mentioned something about the depth, and we actually have some depth at quarterback this year. In years past, we've always known that Clay Belton was going to be the guy. This year, it's a competition. How important is it to identify that signal caller and let the team know this is the guy that's going to lead our team?
For the first time as a head coach, I've had to deal with trying to figure out who that guy's going to be. It was very easy the first 2 years. Clay Belton, who signed with the Miami Dolphins, was year one and one in year 2, and now you go into the spring with 4 quarterbacks, and they did an unbelievable job competing throughout the spring. And when all 15 practices completed, it's still very much up in the air. We're going into camp with the expectations of somebody emerging and being the starter, but right now, who knows?
Sure. Now, preseason honors have started to come in a little bit. We've had a couple of guys recognized for their achievements from last year and their potential for this year. One of those guys is senior defensive back Ray Ballard, who was named a first-team All-American preseason in a couple of publications. Ray's jumped around a little bit from offense to defense, kind of settled in on safety last year. What's it like having someone with that kind of talent in the backfield there?
He's got tremendous ability. He's one of the fastest guys on the team, and the preseason All-American honor is awesome. But we always talk about preseason stuff needing to be postseason awards, and we told Ray, I saw him once he got that honor. I said it means nothing unless you can tag it at the end and have a postseason All-American honor. But the one thing about I think we've done on all aspects, offense, defense, etc. We've gotten faster. I think we have great team speed throughout, and we're just trying to put those guys in position to make plays.
Good. And another person that has gotten some preseason honors is wide receiver Seth White. Now, Seth has done a little bit of everything for your team. How valuable is a player like that to have that you can count on him to play several different roles and to actually do them well?
You can't call Seth a wide receiver. He's not a wideout. He's a football player. He's one of the most talented athletes we have. He kicks, he punts, he throws, he plays wide receiver, he can play tailback, he can play on defense too. And not only that, his leadership has really grown throughout his career. I know early on in his career, the thing that hurt Seth from becoming a great player was some of his characteristics when it comes to leadership and work ethic. And right now, he's taken that to another level. And right now, he's by far one of the most valuable players on our team, right alongside Jared Brown, who's done tremendous things, throughout his career and last season. So looking for big things out of both of those guys.
Now on offense, everything starts up front with the offensive line. And in years past, we've had 5-6 guys that could go in there and fill those roles. But on paper, at least this year, it looks like we're going to have a little bit more of a selection to choose from. How important is depth on the offensive line?
It's so important everywhere, but no bigger than offensive line. It's tough. The one thing we've not had in the past here is depth on the offensive line. And right now, we're still not quite there yet. We have more than we've had going into year one and year two, but we lost Scott Deerwester and Tyler Johns, both seniors and 3- and 4-year starters. And it's going to be tough to replace those guys, but we definitely have more candidates for the first time at the offensive line to replace those guys. And the big thing about an offensive line, they need to find the continuity of working together. And that's one thing we need to do, in the preseason. We've experimented with some guys playing different spots, whether it's center or tackle or guard, but coming into the season, we need to get those 5 in the right spots and let them work together.
Now at the running back position, you lost probably the best running back that's ever been here in Monterey Williams. Do you see one person trying to fill that role, or do you see a collective unit doing it?
Right now, we have 3 guys. You have Daquan Ford, and you have Demetrius Traps and Ross Franklin that are really going to go into the season as the 3 tailbacks, and we'll see how it all shakes out. They all have their own strengths, they all have their own weaknesses, and we need to play to what they do best. And I guess right now going into the season, I'd say it's going to be by committee, but you never know how seasons go. Daquan is really yet to have to carry the load like that. Ross Franklin was redshirted last year. It's his first chance to play in a game. And then you have Demetrius, who's played everywhere, wide receiver, corner, back to running back where he started. But, those 3 guys, they all can do it. It's just a matter of can they do it 25, 30 carries a game like Mont did. We lost one of the best backs in Findlay history, no doubt. He set their career rushing record. And, it's going to be difficult because you know what you got with Mont every week. You needed 150 yards, he was going to give you 150 yards. And I'm hoping that one of those 3 guys can step up. And if it's not one, maybe it'll be all 3.
Now, on the defensive line and at linebackers and your front 7 on the defense, you lost 2 really great leaders in Richard Semlin and Brandon Butler. Those guys have been with the program for 4 years. They both started for 4 years. We know we have players that can fill those roles, but from a leadership aspect, are you concerned at all about how the defense will function?
Very much, because those 2 guys had to go through all the adversity with the new staff and the 1-10 season and all the stuff that they had to endure made them great leaders in the end. And to not have those guys this upcoming season is going to be tough. Rich signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders up in the CFL. Brandon was a 4-year starter and pretty much led the country in tackles. And to say we're going to replace those guys, we're probably not. But we do have the talent to maybe mold and become those types of players. Throughout the season and maybe even next year. But to say we're going to be just as good at Mike linebacker and just as good at three technique with Richard and Brandon, we're not. It's going to take a collective effort. And again, it's going to be by committee. We're hoping to mix some guys in, and hopefully they can be as productive as those 2 were.
Good. Now I got one last question for you. How excited are you to get back into the grind of another football season?
Really excited. Always having a season my entire life as a coach's son, and the air starts to change. You start to get that feeling, and you can't wait to get back at it. I know the staff's been working hard already this summer, and we're ready to start. I know our kids are ready, and we're within 30 some days of game 1. So it's the same feeling every year. You get that anticipation, you get that excitement, but there's a lot of questions to be answered this season. It's funny, the first 2 years, there's all questions to be answered. We do have some things that we feel that are pretty solid within the program, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that need answered, and hopefully it'll be answered game 1.
Well, that's great. Thanks for joining us, Coach,
Thanks.
And good luck this year.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that concludes the 2013 Oilers football season preview.